Let's talk about my most anticipated horror movies coming out this year. I'm going to give you a list of 15.
Everything you want and more. You choose.
2025 is a big year for horror, and I decided 10 wasn't enough, so I'm going to give you 15. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 15 is, I think, more of an action thriller, but it was, according to Bloody Disgusting, a horror movie, so I had to add it here, and that is The Running Man. This is kind of a remake. We've seen this story like 3 or 4 times. I am an absolute sucker for The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. I love all the one-lines and all the goofiness that happens in that movie. So this one I automatically kind of tipped on my radar, and then I saw it was going to be directed by Edgar Wright, who did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Last Night in Soho, which are all great movies, and the style that he uses of directing has always got to bring something to it with a little dash of comedy, which is what the Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man had in it. So it automatically kind of piqued my interest. It's starring Glenn Powell as Ben Richards, and he's had some hits in the last few years with Twisters, Hitman, and in Top Gun Maverick. Number 14 is a video game adaptation, which I didn't know was coming out until I looked it up, and that is Until Dawn. So, obviously, like I said, it's based on the hit game, and this is being brought to us by David F. Sandberg, who did Lights Out, Annabelle Creation, and both Shazam movies, which one's good, one's kind of crappy, but still, there's 3 good movies on the list that he's been a part of, and I feel like he's going to go do a good part with this. The movie says it's a group of friends that are going to be spending the weekend in a ski lodge, and they're about the anniversary of their friend's disappearance, but they're not alone. So, kind of going to have some slasher elements to it. It's going to be in the snow, which is always a fun setting for horror movies that we don't really seem to get enough of. But we'll see if it can do itself justice, because most video game adaptations tend to suck. Number 13, based on the name alone, Clown in a Cornfield. This is based on a best-selling novel by Adam Cesare. It says a maniacal clown embarks on a bloody rampage in a small Midwestern town. I really don't need to hear any more than that. I'm good. Game. I love clown movies. I love cornfields. Picking off a bunch of teens. But it is also being directed by Eli Craig, who worked on Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. That's a fun movie. Little Evil and Zombieland. So we've got some credibility there too. Number 12. And it's this low because we'll see if it comes out. And that's Saw 11. And I don't think I have to say much more about that. Either you love the Saw franchise or you hate it. I absolutely love the Saw franchise. This would be higher if I could say yes, it is coming out this year. But it already got delayed once. Who knows how long they're going to delay it. But going to have some great traps. Going to hopefully have some good story, as with Saw 10. Not some of that convoluted stuff, but even the convoluted stuff I still had a ton of fun with. So I am going to be a sucker for that movie when it comes out. Number 11 is an oddball, and it's called Death of a Unicorn. And the story is a man and his daughter hit a unicorn and kill it. And then their boss wants to exploit the unicorn's miraculous curative properties. It's being directed by Alex Scherfman, I think. And I know it's starring Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, and Will Poulter. So it's a horror comedy. Paul Rudd is a good actor for comedy, and I don't know about horror too much. I mean, Halloween 6 is a little, but we've seen Jenna Ortega in a ton of horror comedy / horror movies as it's been. And Will Poulter, he is kind of hilarious kind of guy. I liked him in, oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. But you know the movie with Jennifer Aniston in it. They go across country, pretend to be a family. That one. Number 10 was Fear Street Prom Night, which is just the 4th movie in the Fear Street franchise. And I don't really have much more to say about it than that. I liked all 3 Fear Street films that came out to Netflix. This is coming out on Netflix as well. All the quality in them, the acting was good, the story was good, and most of the special effects were all really awesome. They had great element to them, nice little fun flow for like an hour and a half to 2 hours for each one. I'm just expecting more good stuff in this whole series. Number 9 is Predator Badlands. This is the newest Predator movie, and it's being directed by Dan, I think it's Trachtenberg, He's the same one who directed Prey, and he also did 10 Cloverfield Lane. Both are great movies. The last Predator movie, The Prey, that was a really good movie that he did. So I'm pretty much on board. Predator's an awesome character. You can't get a better killing machine than him. So, asses in seats, you know. Number 8 is The Conjuring: Last Rites. So this one would be higher if the third Conjuring movie had been better. But it wasn't. So it was still decent, but like the first Conjuring movie was really good, the second one was really good, and this one is going to be the conclusion of the Ed and Lorraine story. So we still have the same people coming back with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. She's going to be coming back to play the characters. You also get her daughter in here who's been in both of the Nun movies, but it is being directed by the same guy who did the third one and La Llorona, so it leaves me a little hesitant, but the Conjuring universe in itself has been a good one for the Conjuring films, not their spin-offs. So, I'm going to give it a shot. Number 7, which probably should have been higher when I was making this list, but here it is, and it comes out next month. That is Heart Eyes. It says coworkers are working late on Valentine's Day, are mistaken for a couple by the infamous Heart Eyes killer. That's all the story says. I have not watched a trailer. I did see the movie poster when I went and seen Nosferatu. Looks like a good character. It's directed by Josh Rubin of Werewolves Within, and it's also provided by the people who did Freaky and Happy Death Day, which are also great movies. Plus, you get an all-star cast. You have Olivia Holt, who is just in Totally Killer. You got Mason Gooding from Screams 5 and 6. You got Jordana Brewster from the Fast and Furious franchise. And you got Devon Sawa, who was in Final Destination, Idle Hands, and most recently, every single season of the Chucky TV series. And I'm assuming he's going to make his way into the next Chucky movie that's supposed to come out. So, all-star cast. It's a slasher on Valentine's Day. Everything seems to kind of point towards yes. Number 6, that is The Monkey. And it says, twin brothers find their father's old monkey toy in the attic and series of deaths start. It's based on a book by Stephen King. When something's based on a book by Stephen King, I tend to find a way to watch it. That's how I grew up as a kid. We had like 30 different Stephen King adaptations on VHS. I watched all of them, the good, the bad, and the Children of the Corn. But I'm going to give it a shot. This one is being directed by Oz Perkins, who did just bring us Longlegs, which was a really good film. And then it's also starring Theo James, who's from the Divergent series. It has the kid, I think it's like Roan Campbell from Halloween Ends, and Elijah Wood is in it. So you got good acting, you got a good director. It's a Stephen King story. I'm just expecting very good things. Number 5. Megan 2.0. So, Megan 2.0 is going to be this high for me just because I love killer dolls. If you've seen my channel before, you know I absolutely love Chucky. He's awesome. Annabelle, okay. Not really the killer doll, but the doll's there. And then with Megan, the first one, it was a lot of fun. I wish they would have really pushed the boundaries on the unrated, but I know they were trying to get teens in seats because of the whole viral dance video and all that good stuff. But the nice thing about this one is it's a direct follow-up to Megan. And we have Violet McGraw as Katie and Allison Williams as Gemma, both coming back to reprise their roles. And it's also being directed by Gerard Johnstone, who directed the very first one. So a lot of the fundamental elements of what made Megan good are all coming back for part 2. 28 Years Later is number 4. And this is a post-apocalyptic world almost 30 years after the zombies virus spread from 28 Days Later. It's from the 28 universe. You know, 28 Days Later was a great film that came out that nobody anticipated. A few years later, we got 28 Weeks Later. Also a great film. I almost say it's better than the first one. And then 20 years later, we're going to finally get 28 Years Later, which, same director. And we have, is that Cillian Murphy? He's reprising his role as Jim. So, again, main star's coming back. Same director's coming back. I just expect it to be a damn good movie in the franchise. Number 3 is Final Destination Bloodlines. And Death is back, coming for some more teens who cheated it. I mean, the Final Destination movies are fun, even the bad ones. I mean, it's fun to see what way they're going to dodge death in a horrific way in the beginning of the movie. It's a blast watching all of them die in these really weird, unique, brutal, bloody, gory ways. And we do get to see Tony Todd, who has just passed away, in his very last role ever one more time. So, reason alone, Tony Todd is a horror god. If you ask me, I love everything he's in. Candyman's what got me my first start seeing Tony Todd, and every time he's in something, I always check it out. Number 2 is going to be The Black Phone 2. This one has Scott Derrickson coming back directing it. It's going to be written by C. Robert Cargill, which they both did the first movie. Ethan Hawke is coming back as the Grabber. I don't know too much about this one yet, but I feel like I don't really need to. The Black Phone 1 was a great movie. Had some horror, had some suspense, had some thriller. The storyline of it was good. Character development throughout the movie was great. And just seeing these guys come back, whether they're going to bring the Grabber back from the dead or if they're just going to tell another Grabber story from some of the other kids who had previously been murdered by him. Either way, it's going to be a good movie. But here comes number 1, which I will guarantee you is not number 1 on another person's list on YouTube. And that is Hell House LLC Lineage. So Stephen Cognetti will be writing and directing the 5th installment in this franchise. And that's literally all I need to know to see this movie. Now, I do have a subscription to Shudder, and it will be exclusively coming to Shudder this October. So it does make it a little bit easier when you don't have to go out to the theaters to go watch it. It makes it easier when it's at home. But Hell House LLC is probably my favorite found footage movie ever, and it's kind of like a found footage / mockumentary. The second Hell House was also a really good movie, the Abaddon tapes. Lake of Fire was kind of a letdown. But then just last year, maybe the year before, we got The Carmichael Manor, which was a really good movie as well. So 3 out of 4 of these have been knockout movies, if you ask me. So that it is, my number 1. So let me know in the comments down below what movies you're anticipating this year for horror. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with other people who love horror movies. And until the next one, rest in peace.